Chosen one. Something has shifted, and if this message found you during these 3 days in May, understand that it is not random. There is a reason you've been feeling different lately. The exhaustion, the strange emotions you cannot explain, the vivid dreams that linger after you wake up, and the growing sense that something in your life is ending even before you can fully see it. You've been sensing a change in the atmosphere, a strange pressure in your spirit, and an unshakable feeling that your life is standing on the edge of something major. These next 3 days carry prophetic energy, and most people will ignore the signs. They will dismiss the synchronicities, silence their intuition, and convince themselves that the discomfort means nothing. But you were meant to notice. Spiritually sensitive people always feel the shift before everyone else does. That is why your energy has felt unsettled, why certain people suddenly seem distant, why your sleep has become strange, and why old memories keep resurfacing without warning. Something hidden is being revealed. Behind the scenes, a spiritual transition is already unfolding, and whether you realize it or not, your life is beginning to separate from an old timeline. Pay attention to what happens during these 3 days in May. Pay attention to the people who leave, the unexpected conversations, the emotions rising to the surface, and the signs you cannot explain. The universe whispers before it changes everything, and right now, the whisper has already begun. You were guided to this message for a reason, not to fear what is coming, but to prepare for it. Because after these 3 days, nothing will feel the same again. Chosen one. There is a reason the number 3 keeps appearing throughout spiritual history, transformation, and divine awakening. These 3 days in May are not just ordinary moments passing on a calendar. Spiritually, the number 3 has always represented transition, rebirth, and the crossing between one version of yourself and another. It is the space between endings and beginnings, the sacred moment where the old life falls away before the new one fully arrives. Throughout time, 3 days has symbolized preparation before elevation, a season of darkness before revelation, a period where everything feels uncertain, silent, and heavy, right before clarity finally breaks through. This is why so many spiritually sensitive people feel emotionally overwhelmed during transformational periods. The soul recognizes change before the mind can understand it. And that may explain why your life has felt so strange lately. Perhaps you've been feeling disconnected from people you once trusted. Perhaps you've been carrying emotional exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Maybe you've questioned yourself, your purpose, or even the path you're on. There are moments when it feels like you are standing still while everyone else keeps moving forward. Moments where you wonder if the silence means you've been forgotten. But chosen one, the silence was never abandonment. It was preparation. These 3 days symbolize the space between who you were and who you are becoming. And every spiritual transformation begins with discomfort. Before rebirth, there is release. Before elevation, there is isolation. Before clarity, there is confusion. That is why this season has felt emotionally heavy for so many of you watching this message. Your spirit has been shedding an old version of yourself that can no longer follow you into your next chapter. The painful endings, the delays, the unexpected separations, the emotional battles you faced, none of it happened without purpose. What felt like rejection was often protection. What felt like loss was often redirection. Sometimes the universe removes what is familiar because your soul has outgrown environments that once felt safe. And this is where many people become afraid, because transformation rarely feels comfortable while it is happening. The old life fights to survive. Old habits, old fears, old attachments all begin rising to the surface at once. That is why these 3 days may feel emotionally intense. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual transition, and deep down, your spirit already knows that things cannot remain the same. May carries powerful transitional energy. It sits between seasons, between endings and beginnings, between reflection and movement. And during these 3 days, many chosen ones will begin noticing signs they cannot ignore, sudden realizations, emotional breakthroughs, vivid dreams, or an overwhelming feeling that something major is about to change. This is not happening by accident. Your spirit is waking up to a new reality. The waiting season is ending. The confusion is beginning to lift. And even if you cannot fully see the path ahead yet, something inside you already senses that a door is opening. These 3 days are not here to destroy you. They are here to transform you. Chosen. 1. The first sign is sudden separation, and if you've noticed people pulling away from you recently for no clear reason, this message is meant for you. One of the strongest signs of spiritual transformation is when certain connections begin falling apart unexpectedly. Friendships become distant, conversations feel forced, and people who once understood you suddenly act cold, disconnected, or uncomfortable around your energy. The painful part is that many of these shifts happen without explanation. Some people disappear completely, some stop replying, and others slowly drift away until the connection no longer feels the same. At first it feels personal. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you said something wrong or if you somehow caused the distance. You try to fix the relationship, hold on to the bond, and bring back the closeness that once existed. But chosen one, what if the separation was never punishment? What if it was divine redirection? Because not everyone can go where you are going. Spiritually sensitive people often struggle with this truth because they love deeply and remain loyal even after being hurt. But during major spiritual transitions, the universe begins separating you from people, environments, and energies that no longer align with the person you are becoming. Some individuals were attached to the old version of you, the quieter version, the version that tolerated disrespect, ignored intuition, and dimmed its light just to keep others comfortable. But your energy is changing now. Your awareness is expanding, and not everyone feels comfortable around someone who is spiritually awakening. That is why certain relationships suddenly feel heavy. Conversations may leave you emotionally drained. Some people may become strangely competitive, irritated, cold, or distant, even though you have done nothing wrong. This happens because energy shifts reveal hidden truths. When your spirit begins rising, anything built on manipulation, dependency, jealousy, or imbalance starts to break apart. Many people unconsciously resist your growth because your transformation forces them to confront the parts of themselves they have avoided. So instead of growing with you, they distance themselves from you. Chosen one, hear this carefully. Some separations are spiritual protection in disguise. Not every loss is meant to be repaired, and not every goodbye deserves another explanation from you. Sometimes, the universe removes people because your soul has already outgrown the connection, even if your emotions are still trying to hold on. That is why this season may feel lonely. You are standing between an old life that no longer fits your spirit and a new chapter that has not fully arrived yet, and that middle space can feel painful. There are moments when you miss people who no longer understand you. Moments when you wonder why relationships suddenly changed, and moments when you feel isolated and deeply misunderstood. But this isolation carries purpose. Before elevation comes separation. Before alignment comes release. The universe cannot bring new energy into your life while you remain emotionally tied to environments that continuously drain your spirit. Pay attention to who became distant during these 3 days in May. Pay attention to who suddenly stopped supporting you, who became uncomfortable around your peace, and who disappeared the moment you started changing. These shifts are not random. They are revealing who was connected to your soul and who was only connected to your old identity. You are not being abandoned, chosen one. You are being repositioned, and one day you will realize that every person who walked away created space for the life you were truly meant to step into. Chosen one. The second sign is becoming impossible to ignore. Your dreams have changed, your intuition has grown louder, and strange synchronicities keep appearing at the exact moments you need them most. What once felt ordinary now feels charged with meaning, as if the universe is trying to speak to you in a language deeper than words. Lately, you may have noticed yourself waking up from dreams that feel unusually vivid and emotionally intense. Not the kind of dreams that disappear within minutes, but the kind that stay with you all day, repeating themselves in your thoughts like hidden messages waiting to be understood. Some of you have dreamed about storms, standing in heavy rain while trying to reach shelter. Others have seen doors opening unexpectedly, endless roads, unfamiliar houses, fire burning through old places, or deep water pulling you beneath the surface. These symbols are not random. Spiritually, storms often represent emotional cleansing. Doors symbolize transitions into new chapters, fire represents purification and transformation, and water reflects deep emotional awakening. Your spirit recognizes change before your mind fully understands it. That is why these dreams feel so real. They are reflections of the transformation already unfolding within you. And it is not only dreams, your intuition has become sharper than ever. You can feel when something is off before anyone says a word. You sense tension in rooms instantly. You notice hidden energy behind conversations. Sometimes you think about someone moments before they contact you. Other times you feel strongly guided to avoid certain people, places, or situations without logical explanation. Chosen one. This is what happens when spiritual awareness begins rising. The inner voice you once ignored becomes impossible to silence. You may also be noticing repeating numbers appearing constantly during these 3 days in May. Numbers like 111, 222, 333, or 444 showing up on clocks, receipts, phone screens, or random places you cannot explain. To many spiritually sensitive people, repeating numbers feel like reminders that unseen forces are guiding their path. They appear during moments of awakening, transition, and alignment, especially when a person is approaching major life changes. And then there are the synchronicities, songs playing at the exact moment you needed clarity. Random conversations that strangely answer your private thoughts, memories resurfacing out of nowhere, names appearing repeatedly. Unexpected encounters that feel destined rather than accidental. The more spiritually aware you become, the more you begin realizing that life is filled with invisible patterns connecting everything together. But with this heightened awareness also comes emotional overload. You may feel emotionally overwhelmed for no obvious reason. Some days your energy rises suddenly, while other days exhaustion hits you heavily. Old memories you thought you had healed from begin resurfacing without warning. Certain emotions return stronger than expected. You may even feel drawn towards solitude because crowds and noise suddenly feel draining to your spirit. This happens because awakening forces buried emotions to the surface before true healing can happen. The universe cannot elevate you while hidden wounds remain ignored. So, during these prophetic days, unresolved feelings may rise so they can finally be released. Pay close attention to what your intuition is trying to tell you right now. Many people ignore their inner knowing because logic demands proof. But spiritual messages rarely arrive through logic first. They arrive through feelings, dreams, instincts, symbols, and unexplainable moments that quietly pull your spirit in a certain direction. The universe whispers before it shakes your world. And chosen one, the whispers around you are becoming louder. Your dreams are not random. Your intuition is not imaginary. The emotional shifts, the repeating signs, the strange synchronicities, and the resurfacing memories are all pointing toward one truth. Your spirit is waking up to something bigger than you expected. These 3 days in May are opening a doorway within you. And once that doorway opens, you will never see your life the same way again. Chosen one. The third sign is chaos before breakthrough. And if your life has felt unusually heavy lately, financially, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, this message is meant to help you understand why. Because right before a major transformation, life often begins to feel unstable. Plans stop working the way they used to. Delays appear everywhere. Unexpected conflicts rise to the surface. Emotions become harder to control. And for a moment, it can feel like everything around you is falling apart at once. But what if the chaos is not punishment? What if it is preparation? Many spiritually sensitive people experience intense pressure before entering a new chapter of life. Financial stress may suddenly increase. Opportunities may feel blocked, and situations that once felt stable may begin shifting without warning. You may feel emotionally exhausted even after resting. Your motivation may disappear without explanation. Some days you feel hopeful, while other days you question everything. And the hardest part is that nobody around you fully understands what you are carrying internally. On the outside, you may appear calm, but internally, it feels like your spirit is fighting through a storm that never fully settles. You may feel trapped between wanting to move forward and feeling uncertain about what comes next. One moment you feel deeply guided, and the next moment fear tries to convince you that nothing will ever change. Chosen one. This inner conflict happens because transformation breaks old foundations before new ones can be built. The universe cannot elevate your life while you are still standing on structures that were never meant to support your future. That is why situations begin collapsing during spiritual transitions. Jobs no longer feel aligned. Relationships become strained. Old routines lose meaning. Paths that once felt clear suddenly stop working. It can feel terrifying because the familiar life you depended on starts disappearing before the new life fully arrives. But destruction is not always negative. Sometimes it is necessary. Think about how storms clear dead branches from trees to make room for new growth. Think about how fire destroys old landscapes so healthier life can eventually emerge. In the same way, spiritual chaos removes what can no longer grow with you. And that process is uncomfortable, because human beings naturally cling to certainty. We want guarantees. We want immediate answers. We want proof that the pain will eventually make sense. But spiritual transformation rarely provides clarity at the beginning. Most of the time, clarity arrives only after the storm has already changed you. That is why these 3 days in May may feel emotionally intense for so many of you. Hidden truths are surfacing. Situations you ignored can no longer be avoided. Emotional wounds buried deep within your spirit are demanding healing. The universe is forcing you to confront what has been draining your energy, limiting your growth, and keeping you emotionally stuck. You may notice sudden arguments, misunderstandings, or emotional tension with people around you. Long-standing problems may suddenly explode into the open. Delayed situations may finally reach a breaking point. And while it feels chaotic, this exposure is necessary because what remains hidden cannot be transformed. Pay attention to what is falling apart right now. Not everything collapsing is meant to be saved. Some foundations are breaking because they were built on fear, dependency, avoidance, or survival mode instead of truth. And while losing those foundations feels painful, keeping them would prevent your growth even more. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Your life is not ending. It is restructuring. The financial pressure may be teaching you independence and trust. The emotional exhaustion may be forcing you to slow down and reconnect with yourself. The delays may be protecting you from paths that are no longer aligned with your future. Even the uncertainty you feel right now may be pushing you toward a version of yourself that would never have emerged inside comfort. This is why spiritually awakened people often go through periods where everything feels uncertain at once. The old version of life must loosen its grip before the new reality can fully appear. And that transition can feel messy, lonely, and deeply emotional. But chaos does not last forever. Eventually, the storm reveals why it came. Eventually, the confusion begins making sense. Eventually, you realize that what felt like everything falling apart was actually everything being rearranged in your favor. These 3 days in May are exposing what no longer belongs in your next chapter. They are clearing emotional, spiritual, and energetic space for something greater to enter your life. And although the pressure feels intense now, one day you will look back and realize this season did not break you. It transformed you. Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why your path has always felt heavier than the paths of the people around you? Why you seem to experience deeper emotional battles, stronger resistance, unexpected betrayals, and seasons of isolation that nobody else fully understands? The answer is not because you are cursed. It is because spiritually aware people are often tested before they are elevated. Not everyone carries the same spiritual sensitivity. Some people move through life without questioning anything deeper. But people like you feel everything intensely. You notice energy shifts before others do. You sense hidden intentions behind words. You absorb emotions from environments, crowds, and relationships without even trying. And because of that sensitivity, your journey has never been ordinary. The chosen one archetype has always been connected to transformation through pressure. Spiritually awakened people are rarely shaped through comfort alone. They are shaped through endurance, through emotional battles, through loneliness, and through moments where they are forced to discover strength they never knew existed. That is why your life may have felt like a constant cycle of lessons, endings, and rebirths. And one of the hardest lessons for chosen ones is betrayal. You may have trusted people who eventually turned against you. You may have supported others during their darkest moments only to be abandoned when you needed support yourself. You may have given loyalty, love, patience, and understanding to people who never truly valued your spirit. And after enough disappointments, you began questioning why these painful patterns kept repeating in your life. But chosen one, betrayal often appears when your spirit is outgrowing certain connections. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay permanently. Some people are temporary teachers disguised as permanent relationships. Their role is to reveal your boundaries, strengthen your discernment, and push you toward deeper spiritual awareness. Without those painful experiences, you might never have discovered your true strength. And then, there is the isolation. Many spiritually aware people go through seasons where they feel deeply misunderstood. You may feel disconnected even while surrounded by others. Conversations that once interested you now feel empty. Crowds drain your energy. Noise becomes overwhelming. And sometimes it feels like nobody truly understands the inner transformation happening within you. This isolation is painful, but it also serves a purpose, because growth often requires separation from distraction. The universe pulls chosen ones into solitude so they can hear their own spirit clearly again. In silence, intuition becomes stronger. In loneliness, self-awareness deepens. And in stillness, hidden truths begin revealing themselves. That is why these tests are happening right now during these prophetic days in May. Your spirit is being prepared for elevation. And preparation is rarely comfortable. Before you step into greater alignment, the universe tests your emotional resilience, your faith in yourself, and your ability to keep moving forward even when clarity has not fully arrived yet. Some of you have felt like quitting recently. The emotional exhaustion has been overwhelming. The delays have tested your patience. The constant uncertainty has made you question whether your breakthrough will ever come. But hear this clearly. The intensity of the resistance often reflects the importance of what is waiting on the other side of it. Spiritually awakened people frequently experience the strongest battles right before major transformation. Fear rises, doubt increases, unexpected obstacles appear, old wounds resurface. It is almost as if life itself is testing whether you are ready to step into the next version of yourself. And despite everything you faced, you are still here. You survived the betrayals that were meant to harden your heart. You survived the loneliness that was meant to break your spirit. You survived the confusion that made you question your worth. And even after everything, some part of you kept searching for meaning, healing, and truth. That is not weakness, that is spiritual resilience. Chosen one, your hardships were never proof that you were forgotten. They were proof that your spirit was being refined. Every painful season strengthened your discernment. Every disappointment forced you to awaken. Every obstacle pushed you closer to the person you were always meant to become. You are not being tested because you are failing. You are being tested because you are transforming. And these 3 days in May may mark the moment where you finally begin understanding why your journey had to unfold the way it did. Chosen one. These 3 days in May carry a hidden message, and the deeper truth is this. Your life is entering a period of awakening and alignment. What once felt delayed, blocked, or emotionally confusing is beginning to shift beneath the surface. Even if you cannot fully see it yet, invisible doors are already starting to open around you. This is why your spirit has felt restless lately. Part of you already senses that an old cycle is ending. The emotional weight you have been carrying for so long is reaching its final chapter, and what happens during these days may reveal exactly what your soul has been preparing for. Because spiritually, there are moments in life when everything begins changing at once. Sudden realizations appear, unexpected opportunities arrive. Conversations happen that alter your direction completely. People from the past resurface. Hidden truths come into the light. And often, these moments unfold right after periods of confusion and emotional exhaustion. Chosen one. These 3 days symbolize alignment after a long season of spiritual resistance. The waiting was not meaningless. The delays were not permanent. What felt like stagnation was actually preparation happening behind the scenes. While you believed nothing was moving, your spirit was being repositioned for a different path entirely. That is why many of you may soon experience sudden breakthroughs in areas where you once felt blocked. Some of you may receive unexpected communication, an opportunity you thought had disappeared, or clarity about a decision that has been weighing heavily on your spirit. Others may experience emotional breakthroughs, finally releasing pain, fear, resentment, or attachment that has silently controlled your energy for years. And for some of you, karmic cycles are finally ending. The repeated emotional patterns, the exhausting lessons, the relationships that kept pulling you into the same pain over and over again. The constant feeling of being trapped between who you were and who you were meant to become. These cycles cannot continue once true awakening begins, because awakening changes your energy, and once your energy changes, your entire reality begins reorganizing itself around the new version of you. People who once had access to your spirit may suddenly lose that access. Situations that once drained you no longer hold the same power over your emotions. Paths that once seemed impossible begin opening unexpectedly. This is divine timing at work, not human timing. Not forced timing, not the timing your fear demanded. Divine timing moves when your spirit is finally ready to receive what your soul has been asking for, and many chosen ones are approaching that moment right now. That is why these 3 days feel so spiritually charged. Your intuition senses movement before physical reality fully catches up. But there is also urgency connected to this message. Because moments of alignment require awareness. Many people miss life-changing opportunities because they ignore the signs standing directly in front of them. Fear convinces them to stay attached to old versions of themselves. Doubt causes them to reject the very opportunities they once prayed for. Comfort keeps them trapped inside cycles they were meant to outgrow. Do not ignore what your spirit is trying to reveal during these days. Pay attention to what suddenly enters your life. Pay attention to what suddenly leaves. Pay attention to the conversations, dreams, emotions, and realizations that keep repeating themselves. Nothing appearing now is accidental. The universe is revealing what aligns with your next chapter and exposing what no longer belongs in it. And although the process may still feel uncertain, your spirit is moving closer to the breakthrough you once thought would never arrive. Chosen one. These 3 days are not only about endings, they are about activation. You are waking up to the truth that your life was never falling apart randomly. It was being guided toward alignment the entire time. And what happens next may become the turning point that changes everything. Chosen one. During these 3 days in May, what you do matters more than you realize. This is not the time to move carelessly, ignore your intuition, or allow outside noise to distract you from what your spirit is trying to reveal. These days carry powerful emotional and spiritual energy, and the way you respond to that energy can shape the direction of your next chapter. The first thing you must do is slow down. The world constantly teaches people to rush, react, chase, and force outcomes. But spiritual clarity rarely arrives through chaos. It arrives through stillness. That is why your spirit may be pulling you toward silence lately. You may feel the need to disconnect from noise, avoid unnecessary conversations, or spend more time alone with your thoughts. Do not ignore that feeling. Your spirit is trying to create space so you can hear the deeper message unfolding around you. Spend time in reflection during these days. Journal your thoughts, your dreams, your emotions, and the strange synchronicities you notice. Sometimes writing things down reveals patterns you would otherwise miss. You may begin noticing repeated themes, emotional triggers, or intuitive feelings that keep returning for a reason. What seems small now may later reveal itself as an important spiritual sign. Prayer and meditation are especially powerful during this period. Not because you need to become perfect or have every answer, but because silence strengthens spiritual awareness. When the mind becomes quiet, intuition becomes clearer. Many chosen ones already know the truth deep inside themselves, but fear, distractions, and emotional exhaustion often drown out that inner voice. These 3 days are an opportunity to reconnect with it again. And while you are reconnecting with yourself, you must also protect your energy carefully. Not every environment deserves access to your spirit right now. Avoid unnecessary negativity, gossip, arguments, and emotionally draining people. Pay attention to how certain conversations affect your energy. Notice who leaves you feeling exhausted, anxious, or emotionally heavy after spending time around them. During periods of spiritual transition, your energy becomes more sensitive than usual. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary. You also need to observe rather than react immediately. Not every situation requires an instant response. Not every emotion needs to control your actions. Sometimes the greatest spiritual wisdom comes from pausing long enough to truly understand what is happening beneath the surface. If emotions rise strongly during these days, do not panic. Observe them. Ask yourself what they are trying to reveal. Emotional discomfort often points toward areas that still need healing or release. Pay close attention to synchronicities appearing around you now. The repeating numbers, the unexpected conversations, the dreams that feel unusually real, the songs, names, or messages that keep appearing repeatedly. These signs are not meant to create fear. They are meant to increase awareness. Spiritually aligned people understand that life often communicates through patterns long before physical change fully arrives. The more present you become, the more clearly you will recognize what your spirit has been trying to show you all along. And most importantly, trust your intuition. Even if it does not make logical sense yet, even if others do not understand it, even if fear tries to convince you to doubt yourself. Your intuition is stronger during these 3 days for a reason. Spiritually awakened people often sense changes before they physically happen. That quiet inner knowing exists to guide you toward alignment and away from what no longer serves your growth. Chosen one, you do not need to force your future into existence. You do not need to chase every answer or control every outcome. Some things are unfolding exactly as they are meant to. Your task during these days is not to panic. It is to become aware. Be still enough to notice the signs. Be calm enough to hear your spirit clearly. And be courageous enough to trust where your intuition is leading you. Because these 3 days in May are not only revealing what must leave your life, they are preparing you for what is finally ready to arrive. Chosen one. Once these 3 days pass, you will begin noticing something slowly changing within you. Not all at once, not in a loud or dramatic way, but quietly, deeply, and powerfully. The confusion that once consumed your thoughts will begin losing its grip. The emotional heaviness you carried for so long will no longer feel as overwhelming. And for the first time in a long time, you will start sensing clarity returning to your spirit. Because after every spiritual storm comes revelation. What once felt chaotic will begin making sense. The delays, the heartbreaks, the isolation, the emotional battles, all of it will slowly reveal the purpose it carried. You will begin understanding why certain people had to leave your life, why some doors refused to open no matter how hard you tried, why certain seasons felt lonely, exhausting, and emotionally painful. It was never because you were being punished. You were being redirected toward alignment. And once this realization settles into your spirit, something inside you changes forever. You stop chasing people who cannot recognize your value. You stop forcing paths that no longer align with your soul. You stop begging for clarity from situations that were designed to teach you detachment. Instead, you begin moving with a deeper sense of peace and trust within yourself. This is the future waiting on the other side of the shift. A future where your energy feels lighter, where your mind becomes clearer, where your emotions no longer control every decision you make, where you finally stop surviving and begin living with intention. Chosen one, many of you are stepping into a season of emotional healing. Wounds you carried silently for years are beginning to lose their power over your spirit. The betrayals that once broke your heart will no longer define your identity. The fears that once kept you stuck will no longer control your choices. You are learning that healing does not mean forgetting the past. It means no longer allowing the past to imprison your future. And with healing comes confidence. Not loud confidence built on ego or validation from others, but quiet confidence rooted in self-awareness. The kind of confidence that comes from surviving what you thought would destroy you. The kind that emerges after enduring loneliness, disappointment, uncertainty, and spiritual battles, yet still refusing to give up on yourself completely. New opportunities will also begin appearing in unexpected ways. Some of you may enter new environments, meet people who truly align with your spirit, or discover paths that finally feel meaningful again. Others may experience breakthroughs in finances, creativity, purpose, or personal growth. What once felt blocked will begin moving naturally because your energy is no longer tied to the old cycles that were draining your spirit. And perhaps the greatest transformation of all is this: you will finally understand your own worth. You will realize that your sensitivity was never weakness. Your isolation was never abandonment. Your struggles were never meaningless. Everything you survived shaped the person you are becoming now. Every painful season forced you to awaken, grow, and reconnect with parts of yourself you would never have discovered through comfort alone. The storm is ending, chosen one. The fog that surrounded your path is beginning to lift. And although the future may still contain challenges, you are no longer the same person who entered this season. You are wiser now, stronger now, more spiritually aware now. These 3 days in May are not just marking the end of an old chapter. They are marking the beginning of the life your soul has been preparing for all along. Chosen one. By now, you can feel it, can't you? Something inside you has already begun changing. The signs, the emotions, the dreams, the separations, and the chaos were never random. Every moment was leading you toward this realization. These 3 days in May were never only about external events. They were about awakening the part of you that has been trying to rise for a very long time. Now look at the signs again. The sudden separation cleared space in your life. The strange dreams and heightened intuition guided you toward awareness. The chaos that shook your world was breaking apart what no longer aligned with your future. At first, these experiences felt disconnected, painful, and confusing. But now the deeper truth is becoming clear. Every sign carried the same message. Transformation had already begun. So, chosen one, this transformation is not something waiting for you someday in the distant future. It is already happening. Every difficult lesson you survived changed you. Every betrayal strengthened your discernment. Every lonely night forced you to reconnect with your spirit. Even the moments when you felt lost were secretly guiding you toward awakening. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were never truly stuck. You were being led. Even during the confusion, even during the silence, and even during the seasons when life felt like it was falling apart faster than you could hold it together, something greater was unfolding behind the scenes. And now your spirit is finally beginning to recognize it. That is why this message found you during these 3 days in May. Your soul was meant to hear it before the next chapter fully arrives. Deep down, you already know that you cannot return to the old version of yourself anymore. The old thinking, the old emotional cycles, the old attachments, and the old fears no longer fit the person you are becoming. You are standing at the edge of transformation. And yes, transformation can feel uncomfortable. It can feel lonely, emotional, uncertain, and overwhelming at times. But do not mistake discomfort for failure. Sometimes the soul must break old patterns before it can fully step into alignment. Sometimes life removes what is familiar so something greater can finally enter your reality. The pressure you felt was not there to destroy you. It was there to awaken you. The delays taught you patience. The heartbreak taught you discernment. The isolation taught you self-awareness, and the chaos taught you resilience. Everything you survived was preparing you for this moment. So stop doubting the signs, stop dismissing your intuition. Stop believing that your journey has no meaning simply because the path became difficult. Spiritually awakened people often walk through darkness before they discover the light that was waiting for them all along. And now the light is beginning to appear. You may not have every answer yet, and you may still feel uncertain about what comes next, but deep down, your spirit already knows that something powerful is shifting. A door is opening. A cycle is ending. A new version of you is emerging from everything you survived. Chosen one, trust what you feel right now, because these 3 days in May were never sent to break you. They were sent to reveal who you were always meant to become. Chosen one. If this message reached you during these 3 days in May, take a moment and ask yourself honestly, have you been feeling these signs too? Have people suddenly become distant? Have your dreams felt more intense lately? Have you been sensing that something in your life is shifting even if you cannot fully explain it yet? If this message resonated with your spirit, leave the word chosen in the comments below. And if you've been seeing repeating numbers lately, comment 111 so others who are experiencing the same awakening know they are not alone. Sometimes the strongest confirmation comes from realizing that countless others are feeling the exact same shift at the exact same time. And remember, not everyone will understand this journey. Not everyone will recognize the signs, but those who are spiritually awakening always feel the transformation before the world around them changes. That is why this community exists, for the ones who know deep down that life carries meanings far beyond what the eyes can see. If this message spoke to you, subscribe and become part of this journey. There are more messages coming for those who are entering this next phase of awakening, alignment, and transformation. And share this video with someone who has been feeling emotionally overwhelmed, spiritually exhausted, or strangely disconnected lately. This message may reach them at the exact moment they need it most. Chosen one, trust the signs, trust your intuition, and pay attention to what unfolds after these 3 days in May. Because the moment you almost ignored may become the moment that changes everything.